driving, and what happened was enough for me to pull you over as I'm on my way to speak to my supervisor about something else. Okay? Now, based on the totality of the circumstances, I'm going to give you a strong verbal warning today, okay?
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. I did explain the reasons why I stopped you. I'd ask that you keep in mind in traffic.
Right then, we've got another one for you today. Damon Frier, you might know him from his exotic car content, gets pulled over in his Lamborghini out in California. And look, if you drive high-end vehicles, you already know what's coming. Let's see if this stop holds up to any scrutiny whatsoever. If you love watching me unravel disasters like this, please click that subscribe button.
Well, we got lights. We got lights. We weren't sure what he was going to do, but... Well, our exit's in a mile. Unfortunately, this guy wants to stop now. Yeah, you just have to get on the freeway. I don't want to test patience. I don't know if you guys know this on the freeway. You don't pull off on the shoulder. You find the first exit pull where it's safe for you and the officer, which in this case will be right here. Turn off the car, he said.
I want air conditioning.
He's mad.
For what?
I don't know. What's he waiting for?
Hello.
Hello,
Hey.
how are you doing?
Good, I'm Sergeant Gonzalez, Anaheim Police.
Nice to meet you.
The reason why I'm stopping you, did you notice I was behind you?
Yeah?
I'm sorry?
Yeah?
Okay. I noticed that you were obviously going faster than 65, and then you made an unsafe lane change.
You're kidding me, right?
I'm not. Do you have your license and registration, please?
Yeah. So the whole time I was being passed by the, I don't know, like 20 other cars around us.
Can you speak up? I can't hear you.
I said, so, well, we were being passed that whole time by the 20 other cars around us. That wasn't a concern to you, hey?
Can I have your license and registration?
That's kind of what I thought.
I noticed the license plates. They don't seem like California, or is there a near? Where are they from?
So, how is it?
I'll go over there so I can talk to you, man. All right.
How is it in an unsafe lane change?
Okay, so here's the thing. You obviously caught my attention because
I drive a Lamborghini.
Exhaust, you're like, no, not necessarily. Because look, I'm a sergeant. And I don't normally pull traffic stops, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
So I noticed when I looked at my speedometer, I was pacing you. You were like over 80 miles per hour. And the other thing is you're revving your engine, like exhaust loudly.
What? No, that's how the car drives.
So much that when I was on the phone, the officer was like, what is that I was talking to? The other thing is, when you made a change, when you were in the number one lane and you made that left lane change, the vehicle that was behind you had to stop on its brakes.
Well, that happens sometimes.
Well, that's what I'm explaining, the violation.
That's not a violation. Braking because someone's lane changing and signaling is not illegal.
The vehicle behind
The car's speeding.
Apply its brakes.
No, how do you know? How do you know he wasn't speeding? If you're saying I was speeding, then he must have been going even faster.
Speeding. That was an unsafe lane. So where is this license from?
It's from British Columbia, Canada.
Right, so let's break this down. Sergeant Gonzalez pulls over Damon Frier, and immediately, watch this, he claims unsafe lane change and speeding. Now, I'm not a lawyer, but here's what's fascinating to me. The sergeant himself admits he doesn't normally do traffic stops. He's a sergeant. So why this one? Why today? And did you catch that moment? Damon asks a perfectly reasonable question. So the whole time I was being passed by 20 other cars, that wasn't a concern to you? Brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. And what does the sergeant do? Ignores it completely. Just asks for license and registration again. Now here's where it gets interesting. The sergeant says the car behind Damon had to brake when he changed lanes. Damon's response? Well, if I was speeding, then he must have been going even faster. That's logic, that's common sense. And the sergeant has no answer for it. The revving complaint is particularly telling. You're revving your engine loudly. It's a Lamborghini, mate. That's what they do. That's the exhaust note. You don't buy a supercar to sound like a Prius. What we're watching here is textbook pretextual policing. The sergeant saw an exotic car, made assumptions about the driver, and then worked backwards to find justifications. The unsafe lane change, the speeding, the revving. These are reasons constructed after the decision to stop was already made. This is exactly the pattern we see time and time again with high-end vehicles.
How long have you been in the state of California?
4 days.
24 hours
On vacation?
Yep.
Yeah, cool. Is the license valid in Canada?
It is.
Is this this is your insurance?
Insurance is the small one. Registration is the big one.
You know what the speed limit is on the freeway?
Yeah, it's 65.
Okay. And how fast do you think you were going?
65.
All right, wait in the car, okay?
Yeah.
Unsafe lane change my.
Not sure what he's doing, but he's on his phone. He had to find his ticket book. He said he's a sergeant, so he said he doesn't typically do traffic stops. So we're just hanging out, waiting.
And now we get to the bit that really makes my blood boil. Watch this. The dispatcher's telling him the license is suspended. Suspended. Except it isn't, is it? Damon explains it's an old issue from 2019 that's been cleared up. And what does the sergeant do? Does he accept that? Does he move on? No, he keeps digging. Now, I'm not a lawyer, but from what I understand about how these systems work, cross-border records are notoriously unreliable. Canadian documentation doesn't always sync properly with American databases. That's not Damon's fault. That's a systemic failure. And yet here we are, watching an officer use an archaic database error as justification to prolong a stop that should never have happened in the first place. But here's where it gets properly insulting. The sergeant actually accuses Damon of planning this encounter. Planning it. As if someone would deliberately get pulled over for contempt. The man's driving his own vehicle on a public road, and suddenly he's the one being accused of orchestrating things. The audacity of that deflection is staggering. Rather than acknowledge that maybe, just maybe, he pulled over a Lamborghini because it's a Lamborghini, he flips the script entirely. You were revving loudly, driving in a sports manner. Mate, it's a sports car. That's what they do. This is textbook deflection. When you can't justify the stop, question the driver's motives instead.
Currently in the car, no air conditioning. Kind of warm. It's nice, actually.
Here's the holdup. My dispatcher's saying that your license is suspended.
But it's not suspended. I've had something that was on my license from years ago.
Was it 2019?
Yeah, long time ago. And that it's been cleared up, and it pops up once in a while, but it's all cleared up.
Do you have any documentation indicating same? Because right now our records show that your license is suspended.
What would it be suspended for?
Well, that's what I'm trying to find out.
Like something in your guys' system is like super archaic, and it just shows up. Just
Well,
like
I think it's the different countries that's the problem.
Yeah.
Did you have a California ID before?
No.
Okay.
I've never lived here. I've always been a tourist. I had a ticket.
It says also, that's what I'm trying to confirm. It says that you have a California, or no, a non-issued driver's license or something like that. So you never had an ID in California?
No.
It seems to me like this was almost planned.
What was?
This whole like encounter between me and you. Is that accurate?
Do we know each other?
No, but just the way like, it just seems almost like you're trying to bait me into like some social media thing. And I'm smarter than that. I'm just saying like the cameras right away, just the way you're revving your engine, driving, just very unusual. Again, I'm a sergeant and I don't normally pull people over on the freeway, but the way you're driving, I actually thought you couldn't see me or something because I came up very close to you to try to look at your plate and read it.
Okay.
And I couldn't get it because I couldn't recognize it, obviously because it's from Canada.
Okay.
So this seems like it's all like planned by you. Is that accurate?
No, I mean, I don't plan getting pulled over ever.
Right. Did you see me behind you?
Yeah, I saw you.
And you thought I should rev my engine loudly and kind of be almost like driving a sports manner?
Well, I'm driving a sports car, so it sounds like a sports car.
No, I understand that, but it just seemed like, to me, I'm telling you.
Are you a car guy?
Right, so let's unpack what we've just witnessed here because this is genuinely remarkable. Sergeant Gonzalez has now pivoted from "you were speeding" to "this whole encounter seems planned." Planned? The man is driving his car on a public motorway. That's what cars are for, but apparently owning a camera and a Lamborghini simultaneously is now grounds for suspicion. Watch how quickly he shifts when Frier starts asking logical questions. The moment Frier points out that rev matching is an OEM feature, a factory-installed function of the vehicle, Gonzalez says, And I quote, "Before you go into great detail, don't ask me that. Don't ask him that." The officer who stopped this man specifically because of engine noise doesn't want to discuss how engines actually work. And here's the thing that really gets me. Gonzalez admits he's not a car guy. He doesn't know what the vehicle even was when he saw it, but he was absolutely certain it was being driven inappropriately. How does that work exactly? You don't know enough about the car to identify it, but you know enough to determine the driver was revving excessively rather than, simply driving. This is what happens when officers make stops based on vibes rather than violations. They get challenged with basic technical questions, and suddenly the conversation needs to end. I'm not going to get into that, because getting into that exposes the whole premise.
Am I what?
A car guy.
I don't know enough about cars to even say, yeah, I know very minimal. Not enough to tell you what this even was when I saw it.
So it sounds accurate that you don't know enough about this car to know whether or not I was revving it.
Well, it sounded to me that you were, it doesn't take even a lower, torque or horsepower car, you can tell if someone's revving the engine. Like a Honda Civic, which would be a 4-cylinder, I can tell.
Well, this is a V.
Increases in noise. So that's why I was asking. So let me figure out your license thing, and then we'll go from there, okay?
Yeah, real quick.
Yeah.
So this car has it has a V12 engine. It's not a 4-cylinder, so it's going to be louder.
Like, as an example, I understand this has a lot of horsepower, a lot of torque. My example to you was, in my Honda Civic that I used to own that had a 4-cylinder, I can tell when a car is revving or not.
Right.
Just like you can tell if a V12, V8, or V10, right? Maybe not a Lucid or a Tesla. I don't know. I'm not an expert in that either. But
did your Honda Civic have paddle shifters? Does your Honda Civic?
I'm not going to get into that.
Does your Honda Civic rev match? Do you know?
Right, stop it there. Stop it right there. Did you catch that? I don't know enough about cars to even say. This is the officer who pulled someone over for allegedly revving their engine for a vehicle-related infraction, and he's now openly admitting he doesn't know what he's looking at. Let that sink in for a moment. This is a sergeant, mind you, not a probationary constable on his first week, a sergeant. And when Frier asks him a perfectly reasonable question, do you know what rev matching is? Watch the body language. Watch how quickly he tries to shut it down. I'm not going to get into that. Of course you're not, mate. Because getting into that means admitting the entire basis for this stop was built on sand. And here's what's absolutely damning about this pause right here. Frier isn't being aggressive. He's not being combative. He's calmly explaining an OEM feature, something that comes standard with the vehicle, and the officer cannot engage with it. Because he doesn't understand it. Because he never understood it. So I have to ask, and this is rhetorical, but I want you sitting with it, how many other drivers have been pulled over by officers who don't actually understand what they're citing? How many tickets have been written based on nothing more than, "that sounded loud to me"? This is textbook. The moment the expertise gets questioned, suddenly it's time to move on.
What that is? So there's an OEM feature that basically makes sure that when you downshift, it's going to align the RPMs with the engine speed.
Before you go into great detail,
Well, I'm explaining the revving
I know.
because you're concerned about it.
I'm telling you when you ask me. So I don't know what your intent was. I know that I have traffic violations that I witnessed. You're obviously not from this area, so I have the ability to give you a warning. I keep in consideration that you're not from the area, but again, and you're here visiting and stuff.
And there it is, right there. Watch what just happened in that exchange about the license. So the dispatcher is saying his license looks suspended. Looks suspended, not is suspended. And when Frier asks what it would be suspended for, the sergeant's response is, well, that's what I'm trying to find out. You pulled this man over, you're now questioning the validity of his license, and you don't even know why it might be suspended. That's the justification we're working with here. Now pay attention to this bit about the systems. The sergeant admits he's never even heard of this elite system the dispatcher is using. He's a traffic guy, by his own admission, and he doesn't know the system being used to verify licenses. And here's where it gets properly interesting, when they actually run it through British Columbia properly. What comes back? Normal and valid. Pass. So we've got an officer who doesn't know cars well enough to understand rev matching, using a system he's never heard of, to question a license that turns out to be completely valid. And somehow this man still felt confident enough to pull over a tourist and suggest the whole thing was planned. This is what cross-border stops look like when officers are operating on assumption rather than knowledge. The system let him fish around for something, anything, to justify a stop that never had solid footing to begin with. And when the Canadian database finally speaks, silence. Nothing there.
To me, it seemed like this was like, I don't know, maybe it wasn't, but maybe you guys are just ready. But I'm going to tell you this. Your driving and what happened was enough for me to pull you over as I'm on my way to speak to my supervisor about something else. Okay? Now, based on the totality of the circumstances, I'm going to give you a strong verbal warning today, okay?
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. I did explain the reasons why I stopped you. I'd ask that you keep in mind in traffic, maybe being more cautious when making a lane change. That's part of my warning. And the speed limit is 65. And when I'm behind you and I look at my speedometer and it says more than 65, now I'm not saying I paced you for a great distance or anything like that, but that's an indicator that you're speeding. Does that make sense?
I appreciate you giving me a warning.
All right, hold on a second.
Thanks a lot. Yeah, no worries. Okay.
You may consider if there's any documentation that you can get from Canada, because my dispatcher was reporting that it looks suspended, but I'm not sure.
So what info would he say it looks suspended? Like you're saying it looks suspended.
They were doing like some system called, I think she said Elite, which I've never even heard of. To be honest with you, I'm not a traffic guy.
Yeah.
She goes, so I asked her to confirm, and she goes, yeah, it looks to be that way, and she was trying to do further follow-up and can confirm that.
So we tried it as British Columbia.
There you go.
There you go.
In my group, they tried it as British Columbia, and we got the return.
Does that say valid? They're doing further digging.
Spanish shows normal and valid.
Normal and valid.
Name and DOB. It's showing a class 5 or 6, and I'm Googling to see if I can figure out what a class 5
Motorcycle.
Because otherwise it does say.
Motorcycle 5 and 6.
Okay, no further need. That confirms he has a valid ID.
Right, so there it is. A strong verbal warning. Let that phrase sit with you for a moment. After all of that, the suspended license claims that turned out to be nonsense, the revving accusations he couldn't substantiate, the bizarre suggestion that Frier staged the entire encounter. After all of that theatre, it ends with a verbal warning. And look, I'm not a lawyer, but here's what I find fascinating about this resolution. The sergeant essentially admits he didn't pace the vehicle for any meaningful distance. His own words, "I'm not saying I paced you for a great distance or anything like that." So what exactly was the basis for this stop again? Watch Frier throughout this entire exchange. The man is calm, measured, polite even. I appreciate you giving me a warning. Grace under pressure when he had every right to be frustrated. Because let's be absolutely clear here. The lack of a ticket doesn't mean justice was served. It means this stop should never have happened in the first place. What we witnessed was an officer exercising discretion he shouldn't have needed to exercise, because the justification for the stop was paper thin from the beginning. The power dynamic here is extraordinary, isn't it? Frier has to sit there, thank the officer, engage in pleasant conversation about lucid motors of all things, whilst his time has been wasted and his documentation questioned based on nothing substantive. This is what getting off easy looks like in modern policing, and that should concern all of us.
From a different country, some officers have a hard time finding that it's valid.
Well, that's why I asked dispatch. That's what they do for
That's their job, right?
Right, well, they have an expertise, right? So, yeah, definitely reached out to them because, again, I couldn't even recognize your plate.
Well, you were super cool, man. I didn't set this up. Like, if I was setting this up, I would have done something to really get your attention. I felt I was driving quite normally. I had people still passing me, going even faster, and I honestly lane changed. I signaled, I shoulder checked because this does have a blind spot, and when I came into that lane, that guy was going way faster than I was going if he had to brake.
He did brake, and again, I'm not, like I said, I'm not going to try to cite you, and that's where I was like, okay. And he looked at me. To be honest, he was like, "You gonna do anything about it?" And I'm like, "Oh."
You're like, okay, this guy allegedly is doing, let's say, over the speed limit. Now this guy's obviously doing even faster than him if he had to brake.
Well, because you're coming up, like, right? So I think what happened is that it's kind of a moot point because I'm not.
It's a moot point. Yeah, you gave me a verbal warning.
Let me ask you about this.
Yes.
What do you think of Lucid Motors? Have you heard of them?
Oh yeah, electric cars.
I I test drove one.
And what are your thoughts?
It's way out of my price range, to be honest.
Yeah.
It was nice. It's fast.
You should get a Lamborghini.
I can't. That's out of my price range too. Of course, I'm not going to go too fast, but I got on it.
You got on it. You got on it. My man. Well, it's good to meet you.
Yeah.
You're super cool.
Do you have any questions for me?
I don't.
All right, man. Just keep the things that we talked about. Enjoy your vacation.
Yes, sir.
See you later.
So there you have it, the whole encounter start to finish. And look, I want to be clear, Sergeant Gonzalez wasn't aggressive, wasn't hostile, and ultimately let Damon go with a verbal warning. Credit where it's due, but that's not the point, is it? The point is this stop should never have happened in the first place. A man driving a nice car on a California highway gets pulled over, questioned about a phantom suspended license that didn't exist, accused of staging the entire encounter, and then told to be more careful. For what? For driving a Lamborghini? And here's what I need you to take away from this. This wasn't a violent encounter, nobody got hurt. But these pretextual stops based on what your car looks like rather than what you actually did wrong, they erode trust. They waste resources. And they disproportionately affect certain communities. Now, I'm not a lawyer, but you don't need a law degree to see the pattern here. Nice car equals suspicion. Camera rolling equals this must be staged. Canadian license equals let me dig until I find something. So here's what I'm asking of you. Stay vigilant. If you've had similar encounters, share them. Document everything, because the only way we get better policing is by holding these moments up to the light. Subscribe, share this video, and keep the conversation going. Because accountability doesn't happen in silence. It happens when we refuse to look away.